is Clarence Cachagee, and I am sitting here with Mohawk Elder Tom Porter, and we're just going to have a little conversation. You know, for the past few months, I've been bumping into Tom more and more at different places and spaces, at different gatherings, and the last time we connected was in Niagara, at that healing our bundle and building our bundle conference, and I took the time to engage with Tom, and I want to form a relationship, so I offered him one of my books, and I received one of his books. And then we just recently had a unity gathering down here in Waterloo Region, and we invited Tom to come and spend some time with us. And it was an amazing day. We connected with 3 local Indigenous organizations. And this is a day after that unity gathering. And what I wanted to just sit with Tom and share this time and space with, and ask him his input on how we can be the best ancestor. Because at Crowshield Lodge, we try to be the best ancestor we can be today, not when we're gone. And doing that, it can be challenging at times, but what we do is we just look for equality, and we meet people where they're at, and we want to learn and help people unlearn some of the things. But what we really want to do is find a new understanding and a new way of being where we can walk together as equals in life. So, Tom, it's great to have you here.
Well,
great
thank
to
you.
see you again. And yeah, I was just wondering what your input or what your take would be on how we can be the best ancestor we can be today.
Well, I think that probably the first thing is to gather all the different traditional practices from wherever, be it Ojibwe or Lakota, Cheyenne or Mohawk, Seminole. Try to gather as much of their traditional values and traditions of everyday approaches to life, and use them as references for the people that come to visit the center. And then once you got a good hold on those, you'll find there's a commonality between all of them. And so you apply that to share with the new people coming in who are searching for a way to be respectful, a way to be a good human. And then they can take it home and apply it to their own children and their friends and their grandchildren, and then they'll learn, and then it will spread like butter on a hot toast on the 4th of July.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. And the thing that we've found, Tom, is that from whatever has been imposed on the Indigenous people of North America, some of us have lost that connection to culture through the residential schools, through the 60 scoops, through the child welfare system, through being incarcerated. We've just lost that connection, and it's hard for some of us to find that way back to culture, because we don't feel sometimes that we're worthy enough, because we don't know the language, we don't know the teachings, and it's really hard for us to make those first steps.
Well, my suggestion there is that's true. So you need to find an elder that really believes in their tradition, an elder that really knows his tradition and don't just talks about it, but lives it every day. Those you'll find always have time for you or anybody, because they're kind people. And wherever there's a need, if they have the ability to help, they'll help. That's the real tradition people. There's people that's trying to do that, but they're making a business out of it,
right?
And that's not the reason why. So that's when you're looking for somebody, elder people. First, do a research on them. If are they real one, and how long have they been doing that? And if they did just start it, do they really believe in it?
Right.
And are they ready to share it? Because if you don't have that motivation of kindness and compassion,
Right.
and not a business attitude, then it's really something good.
Yes, and thanks for sharing that. It's we've been fortunate enough to find elders to walk with us and to guide us and direct us. We found elders from the Mississaugas. We have found elders that are from Haudenosaunee, they're Oneida, and we've also have Anishinaabe elders, and it's really great because they really like what we're doing,
Yeah.
and they believe in what we're doing, and what they always tell us to do is slow down.
Yeah, it's important.
You know, and they say use the turtle as your guide. You know, the turtle doesn't pivot all over the place. You know, it has a mission. It goes straight in a straight line. If it feels threatened, it stops, pulls back, figures things out, and then it gets going again.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
So that's great information, and what I can say is that, you know, as Crowshield Lodge, we've been around for about just over 3 years, and we're really starting to feel that we've built a foundation in the region, in Waterloo region. And what we want to do is just creating more places and more spaces where we never call people out, but what we do is we call them in to have those hard conversations. And where all of those hard conversations start and end is around a fire.
Yeah.
In a teepee.
Yeah.
This is a time of partnerships. This is a time to collaborate. But we also know that this is a time where we really have to think of our responsibilities to those generations that are not here yet.
Yeah. I think that when you're, in my estimation, because of the residential school era, that scooping era, it displaced a tradition that was vibrant, healthy, and really, really good. And it fractured that, it injured that, almost killed it. And so a lot of Native community people are existing in that fractured state. Their emotional is fractured and in disarray. Their health is fractured in disarray. That's why we have diabetes and high blood pressure and heart attacks and cancers coming around more and more. Because that has a lot to do with your attitude and your thinking. If you're always in a negative state, then those sickness can find a place to root itself.
Right.
So not all of it, but it has a lot to do with it. And so because of our divisions caused from the outside, and I mean in like boulders or force, like we're just little ant, and big boulders would come, there was nothing we could do.
Right.
It was too big. And that's why we're injured mentally and physically and all that. Families have been broken, and the value and the respect families are supposed to have is no longer really there as it was before. What I'm talking about is that I remember my grandmother saying that your first cousin is not like an American or Canadian people. When they say first cousin, to us it's not a first cousin, that's your brother and sister yet. Your second cousin, the way American Canada says, is not your second cousin, it's still your brother and your sister. Your third cousin, American Canadian think, is not third cousin, that's still your brother and your sister. Fourth cousin is also not fourth cousin, it's your brother and sister. Too close family. So you can't marry them until it passes fourth cousin.
Okay.
then you can marry them and have children with them, but never with your own clan. If you're a bear, you're never to marry a woman that's a bear clan. Or if you're a wolf, you're never supposed to marry a woman that's a wolf. Because in our tradition, the way the messenger came and was brought here, the clan is what brings order to our people and respect. Even my grandmother said, because I'm a bear clan, if I were to move to Arizona where the little Hopis live, and I seen a pretty little woman there, she's a Hopi, and she's a bear clan, even though she talks a different language than my language, and she's a whole different nation, but she's a bear clan. My grandmother said, you're not allowed to make girlfriend out of her or become wife to you, even though it's a whole different nation, because it's a bear clan. And the Creator said, we're all brother and sister, we're all family. That's what she said. And that's what older people and mothers and fathers are supposed to be telling their kids when they're little, over and over and over in different ways, but the same subject. So when that child becomes a young man or a young woman, it's up to hear their knowledge of the tradition. And so that's what the center can do, is to become the elders and the parents of everybody, that they may, because a lot of these teachings are not just for Native, it's for how to become a good human being. And that would include Russians and Polish and everybody, you see. Because according to my uncle, traditional teachings, he used to call it universal truth, was given to all of the different black, white, and yellow, and red, the same knowledge of how we're supposed to be here on planet Earth. And that's how come in the English language, you say Saturday. That was a day that the Europeans had ceremonies for Saturn, the planet Saturn. And then there's Sunday. That was the time when the European have a day to observe the sun, like we do for the Sundance. So there's evidence that they too had the same truth as we did. But way back there, kings and emperors started to colonize them and destroy all their spiritual leaders, burnt them to the stake and cut their head off. The same thing when they got here, especially missionaries, proclaimed the people of our spiritual beliefs of Native as witchcraft people. Even today you can still hear it sometimes. They'll say that. And that people will be condemned to hell if they believe in this pagan, they call it pagan, but it's the original truth.
Yes.
So now, all the Indian that I know, I don't know any Indian nation yet, and I'm 80 years old now, that ever talk about fear when they talk about ceremony. I never heard them say, you're going to go to hell if you don't do this, or if you do this wrong, you're going to burn in hell. I never heard that. There's never no threat. Whether you go to Lakota, Ojibwe, Mohawk, or Seminole, I never heard that. So that's the way it was all over the world one time. But some kind of a different way of spiritual came that says there's a devil and there's a hell and there's threat all the time. Have the fear of God. I never heard a Lakota or Mohawk say, old men say, you have to fear God. They always say the Creator is one made of life. And if you follow it, you'll know. You hunt only when you're hungry. You don't never waste food. Even you catch a deer, you use it for your family. You don't just kill it and put the horns on a wall. It's unheard of in any Indian country. And that was the way it was with all nations, all over the world, be they European or African. It was like that. They call it universal truth.
Yes.
And that's what people have been derailed from knowing that. And that's what the center can open the door to return to that practice. And that would include all people, because everybody's a human being. Yeah.
I really like that. I like the universal truth and that everybody's a human being. And that's what we look at Crow Shield Lodge when we meet people where they're at, because today I have an understanding that to be broken is to be ordinary, that everybody's broken in one way, shape, or form. When I came to terms with my brokenness, the shame was lifted for a little bit, and I was able to work on things that I had buried deep, deep inside of me. That's what we want to help people do at Crow Shield Lodge. We want to help them find a pathway back to culture, which will bring them a pathway back to themselves. Mm-hmm. And then we really want to help them answer those 3 questions about who am I, why am I, and what is my purpose in life. Saying that, I couldn't answer those questions, Tom, until I was 47 years old, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't have a name. But once I received that spirit name, it really helped solidify who I was and what my roles and responsibilities were. And that's where Crow Shield Lodge came to be, because so many people helped me. I wanted to be in a place and space in my life that after I helped myself, I could start helping others. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just amazing that it's the right time to be doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you can't do that. 40 or 50 years ago, it was not. There was nobody wants to listen to that.
Right.
They were afraid of it, and they would condemn it even. It was pretty rough. But our history has always kind of been rough.
Right.
It's part of the challenge of being a human being, I guess.
Yeah.
But when we embrace those traditions, because they're based on universal truth, it's like how the river flows. How does the water know where to go? It always goes, and it's always a new water in that same river. It's never the same water. It's always moving, and that's the way our tradition is too. You think it's the same river, because it's followed the same path, but that water, it's not the same water that was there yesterday. And that's the way our native people, our life is like that. It's always living, never stop. It looks like it always like that, but it's not. It's always new. And that's what our ceremony, they call our New Year's ceremonies for the Mohawk. It's 8 days of continuous ceremony for 8 days. And they follow the moon and the stars, when it's going to start. It don't start on January 1st. It goes by the moon and the stars. And on the August, they do it for 21 days for their New Year's. And different nations of the Iroquois has different numbers, because some of them mix in one day 2 or 3 things, but others, like Onondaga, they do only 1, not 2 or 3 in one day. That's why it takes them longer.
Okay.
Yeah. So those New Year ceremony, they say we gather our people and we rekindle the fire that our Creator gave to us. And so we rekindle the fire and we stir the ashes of the Mother Earth so all vegetation can grow and breathe. And there's a ceremony, they call it stirring the ashes, and they follow the sun from the east to the west, back and forth. And they sing and they stir ashes on the 2 stoves on the east and the west, also for men and their women. And so they say every New Year's we begin by rebuilding, rekindling the fire the Creator gave us so it won't go out. That includes all the teachings. It includes about the dead, how when somebody dies, how you're supposed to mourn and grieve. and then how you're supposed to stop your mourning and grieving at a certain time, and that time is flexible because not everybody's the same. When babies are born, there's rituals how to welcome that newborn baby by the families. When kids are growing up, there's disciplinary, how do you discipline the kids? And when they're not behaving right, you're not supposed to scold them or holler at them, but there's ceremonies for that, so that you discipline them that kind of way. And if they get too much out of control, they will use, after twice trying to talk to them with soft words, if that don't work, they'll use a dipper of cold water and throw it on their face. And that usually purifies them, and they calm down. And it always kind of works. And it don't break their bone. It don't hurt them. It didn't punch them, bruise them. Because water is a purifier for life. And so every aspect of how a human is supposed to live is in our whole ceremonies we do for the whole year. And that's true of the Ojibwe, Lakota, and all real humans in the world. If you find some real African people that never joined another religion, just their own and only way that the Creator gave them, there'll be lots of parallels in their ceremony view of how to live. But it's hard to find real African anymore, just like it's hard to find real Indian anymore. Because they were colonized too. And European people were colonized too, their own self, by these emperors and dictators and corporate leaders. The corporate leaders of corporations of the world are the new kings and queens. They're looking for resource, for money, never satisfied. But every kind of, including Christianity, I think it says in there we're supposed to share the bread. And within the Shuni country, it says we have a dish with one spoon we eat from. That means we share. And we're not even related, but it's the same. But they're not doing that. Corporations aren't doing that. Big billionaires aren't doing that. Oh, they give a little bit here and there just to, but they're not sharing their wealth. They're doing it because it's going to make more money. Just like the mafia, they do bad things, but they buy uniforms for the kids on the baseball team. And that's just so the people won't get mad at them.
A way to give back. And it's, I always heard, my cousin Johnny told me that the worst disease to ever come to man was disease of greed. And it will influence people to make very self-centered decisions. They won't be thinking of the next generations that are coming up behind and what our responsibility is. And the greed has got us into the situation we're in now.
Yeah. Well, in the Gaiweo, it says there's 5 things that it says that white brother's going to bring here, and the messenger coming here was sent by the king or the big man over there, and that big man, which I think is the king, put 5 things in the blanket that he's going to bring, and I think that man is the one they call Christopher Columbus. And he's going to use those 5 things to take over our world here in North America, South America. First one, he said, is going to be a black book. So when we have the black book, they give it to us. No more sun dance, no more moon dance, no more rain dance, no more Mother's dance, no more anything, because black book is answered, he said. So stop all your ceremony. So that's one. And that's really easy to understand. Second one is going to be mind changer. That's drugs and alcohol. They're going to give it. And so in history, the European people, every time they trade with the Indian, the fur or something, we use usually beaver. They give it rum to the Indian, so they take that straight for nothing and get them going crazy. But with that, drug and alcohol is more powerful than that of mind changing is the money. So that's got to be included in mind changer, not just alcohol and drug. Probably worse than them are the money.
Right.
Because it really changes people. So that's 2. And then there's the fiddle. The fiddle.
Right.
So when you have the mind changers and the fiddle together, a wife will dance with other men who's not her husband. And a husband will dance with other women who's not his wife. And family will break up. Kids will suffer. And that's the fiddle. It brings that kind of results.
Okay.
And that's easy to understand too.
Yep.
Then the 4th one is a deck of playing cards. He's in that blanket that the big man sent over with Columbus. And that's the gambling. Pretty soon you'll gamble your belongings, your house, your land, your whole everything. And that's what's going on all over now.
Right.
And then the 5th one, he's going to put in there a bag of decayed leg bones. That represents diseases that we never seen before that will decimate hundreds of people that die because they can't fix it, never seen it before. And it also means decayed leg bone, witchcraft that comes from Europe. So now, instead of using your medicine for hunting and fishing to feed your village, because that's been all taken away, now with the European witchcraft and the one powers of medicine here, instead of using it for hunting, now in order to make you poor or hurt you, jealousy, they use it on you instead of the animal or the fishing to feed your family. And almost every place now that's got like that now. So those are the 5 things he's going to use in order to harness us, our mind, and to take over our land, our world. And pretty much has done that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share something with people too, is that if this universal truth that I'm referring to, for the Haudenosaunee people, I always describe to our young people when I talk to them, and I teach them about they call it the Ohondo Kaiwadekwa. Some English people call it, when they say that, interpret it as a Thanksgiving address.
Okay.
Some say it's an opening prayer. But Ohondo Kaiwadekwa, which is practiced by all the Iroquois nations before they have a meeting, and when they close the meeting, it precedes and it also closes the meeting. That's part of the original instruction of humans. And when I tell the young people, this is the skeletal key that opens the truth of our world. If you have that key, it opens the door of everything, of understanding. And so for anybody who wants to really understand universal truth that people have lost, look for that Thanksgiving address, and it will become a curriculum for you, a guideline of what you have to look for and fulfill in your lifetime.
It's all there.
It's all there.
It's all written out. It's all laid out for us. We just have to follow it.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
And the Freedom School, who's been existent over 40 years now, that's their curriculum guide.
I like
Everything they teach there is within that. Yeah. But and when elders do that in an official meeting, They can go 40 minutes, hour, and some could go even 2 hours. But you don't never think about it because they were great orators. You never look at your clock when they talk because they know how to talk so good, the language, that it's like watching a big movie theater, cinema color, technicolor, and stereophonic sound. Just by them talking, you're like entranced. That's the power of the language. But that can take an hour. But I have a short one that my grandmother taught me that I've used almost all my life, and my kids all use it, and my grandkids use it too now. Real short. She says that the light of the sun and the rays of the sun that come through the window, you when you're sleeping, finds you sleeping. And she says the light or the rays of the sun are the fingers and the hand and the arms of a creator. So as you're sleeping, that light surrounds you and hug you from your head to the bottom of your feet. That's the creator's hands and fingers and arms because he loves us. And he doesn't do it just to you. He does it to all the family in our house. He does it to every animal in the barn or in the woods. Everyone, no one gets away. He surrounds us with his light because he loves us. So Grandma said, what are you going to do about it? And she told me what to do when I was only 3. And I never forgot. She says, you say, as soon as you open the eye, your lid of your eye, you see the light, you know what that is. You say, Yahweh, the Gadison, now what's going to don't. In English, that just means thank you. You're the one who made me. I send you my love and greetings, my thankfulness. Now you can get out of bed, put your pants on, and do what you're going to do today. Yeah. Then she also added, whatever you're doing, and when the sun gets in the middle of the sky, stop for a couple of moments, and you say it again. And just before the sun goes down in the western horizon, the sun is still shining, you say it again. Then when you lay in the bed, you say it again, and you add on, means I ask, I make requests that I be able to see another sunshine tomorrow.
That's
then
beautiful.
You go to sleep.
That's beautiful.
And it's all short, it's not long, but it's powerful. It's like a dynamite.
Yes.
Little thing, but it can blow up a big thing.
And it's all about gratitude.
Yeah.
It's all about being grateful for what was given to us and what we have, and just living each day to the fullest, and being proud of who we are.
Yeah.
You know, with connecting with that universal law, knowing that universal, that truth and law, and relying on our families and knowing our roles and responsibilities, and rekindling that fire, I think is one of the most important things that the Creator gave us. That's where I think that connection was cut, where, yeah, we might have a pathway, but we really don't have a fire yet. So once we rekindle that fire, it'll really start to feed us in a way that we've never been fed before.
Yeah, and you know, when you touch another human being, they're warm.
Yep.
But when they die, it's cold like a rock or ice.
Yep.
And my uncle says that's because the sun, part of that sun is in us, that's our soul, our spirit, they give us life. It came from the sun. That's why we have Sundance and stuff. And also, when we done our life on earth, on the 10th day from the death, they have what they call a swadiniku kitsku, means in English, they raise their mind back up from grief and sorrow. And that day they have a last feast on the 10th day. It's like a giveaway feast of the person who died. They give away all whatever they have gathered in their life and reassign it. And then they say at the end of it, tomorrow, when the sun comes, they're talking to the dead spirit. Our old brother, the sun, will come to you and take you by your arm, and he leads you back to Kanatsiohareke, where we came from before we were here on this planet, back to the homeland. So you won't get lost. Our old brother sun will hold you and take you through the sun, through the Milky Way, back to the other planet where we came from. Now, what's the sun? Well, since we were born, every day the sun shines, so trees will grow, so corn will grow, so medicine will grow. So when we walk the earth, we see, and we won't bump into the tree and injure ourselves. So every day, what did the sun do all our life? Every day, the sun helps us in many ways. So at the last, when we're done, and we have to tell, the old brother sun who has helped us since birth till departure will hold us. So we don't have to be afraid. We won't get lost. He's going to take us over there.
Help us again.
Yeah. That's
Beautiful.
I think that's beautiful.
I love that. I love that. And that goes right in hand with the Creator's unconditional love.
Yeah.
Right? Where there's no mandates on us. We just have to live a good life. You
Yeah.
know, always be grateful.
Be kind to each other.
Yes. Share, be kind.
No gossip, no rumors.
No. Yeah.
That's not what Creator wants. He says you always use a good mind and say good things, make people feel good.
Yes. Yeah.
That's your job.
Make them laugh.
Yeah.
Make them laugh. Okay? You make people laugh. You have some great jokes. It's amazing. It's amazing. I know that you have to get home soon. It's been great having you hang out with Crowshield Lodge, and it's really been an honor, Tom, getting to know you. And if there's anything that I or we can do at Crowshield Lodge, all you have to do is call.
Yeah. You know, also, to let people know that that book, that Grandma said book,
Yes.
it was never meant for me to be a book.
No.
No. A white woman is the one, and well, I used to tell her what happened to me because my grandmother came to see me.
Right.
And I never equated it to a book because when my grandmother came to see me, after being dead for almost 30-something years, she said, whenever you think of me or things that you have heard as your kid, write it on a scrap paper and put it on your table by your bed. And then next week or 2 weeks, you think of me and others your grandparents said to you of teachings and what you're supposed to know. Write it again and tell it pile up on your table by your bed. And the last paper, you say, and Grandma said, that's what she said to call it. For all the kids from the north to the south, from the ocean to the ocean, they will have something to guide them in their life. And that's what that Grandma said book's about. It's to whatever damage the residential school did, that book helps them to fix that damage and to restore their knowledge. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So that book is being used in some colleges as a part of their curriculum. Several colleges now, and a lot of the, like Freedom School uses it, and I know Trent University have a Native Studies, and they use that book too, because it tells things that they're supposed to be known. But before my time, older people didn't want us to talk about that outside of our outside of our longhouse or outside of our family, because it was frowned upon to believe in that traditional things. And most of our people had become converted to European way of believing, and they proclaimed us witchcraft, or they proclaimed us devil. And so it was forbidden. So in order for us to survive, we didn't tell our own cousins that we're not following tradition anymore. They follow European. So instead of having an argument with them, we kept it a secret. Not a secret, but we didn't broadcast it. We didn't go into the ceremony. We don't tell even our own families that don't believe in it. We just mind our own business and kept doing it. So for many years, we don't talk about it. It's almost like hidden. So that's how I grew up. We don't never share anything with anybody because it means we're going to have to fight.
Right.
So when that lady, white lady, she's the one who told me after hearing what I just told you, that means she wants you to write a book. I didn't know that at all. That wasn't even in my head at all. I thought I just put it pile over there, which I never piled anything there, but I thought it was maybe symbolic, and I didn't do it. And she's the one told me that's what she wants you to do. So she followed me for 8 years with a tape recorder, and then she transcribed it into a book. Yeah, and that's how it came to be. But then when the final manuscript is done, she sent me it. Now it's going to, if you approve, it's going to go to the printer. This is the last chance to make any changes. I mean, I never read a book, including Grandma Set book. I never read it.
Right.
And so I didn't read the manuscript either. But she wants me to read it, so approve it. So I gave it to different people that I know real good, that knows how to read good and can retain the reading. And can you just read this and see if there's anything that's not right in there or bad that's going to be not good, and let me know. And they did, and they said, no, that's good, everything good in there. Just leave it like that. So I lied to that lady. She don't know that. I said, I read it, and she said, everything's good. Because, I guess they call it white lie.
Yeah.
But,
That's awesome.
But my friends read it, so
Yeah.
they're the one who told me it's good. So.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that, especially about that book.
And then when I went to print, one of the things that I was contemplating about it was because we're not supposed to go outside of our longhouse or our ceremony world because we don't want trouble.
Right.
Because some of our old leaders went to jail because of it. So I says, if this book goes through, I'm telling a lot of things that we always just know ourselves.
Right.
I bet you the chiefs are going to call me a traitor, and they're going to scold me, and grandmothers too, people too. And a lot of people became famous for that. And so I'm going to get it. And so I was ready, and I like a fence post in the ground, 3 foot under the ground, so I won't budge.
Yep.
I make myself like a fence post. For the onslaught of criticism, I know they're going to scold me because we're not supposed to do that.
Right.
But did you know a miracle happened? Not one chief scolded me, not one clan mother, not one old people, nobody scolded me. In fact, chiefs and clan mothers said to me, thank you that you had the courage and braveness to do that. It's really good. Completely opposite from what I thought they were going to do. Yeah.
It's the right time to be doing that, to do that, 8 years. And I like what you said, that it's a guide. The
Yeah.
look is a guide.
Yeah.
You know, the same as a Thanksgiving dress is a guide.
Yeah. That's
We
all
have
it is.
so many guides in our life.
Yeah.
We just got to find them.
Yeah. So I always tell people, especially during the time, a hippie time.
Yeah, yeah.
One time they came to our lawn house. They filled the lawn house. Even the chiefs and clanmother, they don't have a room to sit in there. That happened. And they wanted to know ceremony. They want to copy it. But we told them you can't. You can use it as a guide. I mean, we have a sun ceremony or thunder ceremony stuff. We tell you about it, but you have to connect with the thunder yourself and have visions and dreams, or have the spirit of thunder come see you in dream and tell you what they want. How do they want you to do for them? That's what we had to do in the beginning. We got it directly from those powers. And then we tell our kids, and that's what we're still doing it. And that's what you have to do. So don't become a Mohawk.
Right.
Just use the trail, the map. But on the way, you have to mark your path so that you tell your kids, and it becomes yours. You don't become. You're not a pretend Mohawk.
No.
You become real.
Yeah.
That's how we are. Seneca, Lakota, Hopi, Navajo. They all got something that's all different too, but it's all real.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. We need guides. We need mentors. We need elders. We need those healthy people in our lives. And I think one thing that we really need to do is we need to start believing in ourselves.
Yeah.
That we have gifts that nobody else has. We have things that nobody else can do. And the way and beliefs of who we are as the Indigenous people of North America really put us above. But we don't want to be above. We want to be equal to everyone.
Yeah.
But people are starting to come to us now because of what we know, and they want to capitalize on that. They want to learn it like the hippies did back in the 60s or 70s, and because everybody's concerned.
Yeah. When those hippies came there in the 60s,
Yeah.
they went to the quarry, which is not far from the Longhouse, about a mile.
Right.
And they all went over there, and they all stripped naked, and they jump in there. Mohawks never seen that before.
No?
They were the talk of town.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that would be the talk of the town. That would be the talk of the
They
town.
said, Jesus, what those guys, those people, the women and men both, they don't care.
They don't care. They don't care. Freedom. It was pretty free back then. And there was a lot of stuff going on back then in the 60s. That's when I was born. So it was an amazing time from what I hear. Saying that, Tom, we have some things to give to you. Some Crow Shield Lodge swag.
Oh, yes.
Just to take with you. And we want to say thank you for your time.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I like what you are doing. It looks real good.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Feels good.
So, yeah.
And it feels good when you can connect with us and spend some time with us and hold some space with us and share those teachings that some of us don't know, some of us might have heard before. But you know, when we hear those teachings, what it does to me and for me is it rekindles that fire.
Yeah.
It rekindles that fire.
Yeah. So every time when you talk, so some people will think it's boring because they heard it before. But a fire is always a fire. You always got to put another log on there.
That's right.
So every time you hear it, that's another log to keep the fire going. So you can't never say it's boring, even though it looks like the same fire. Mm-hmm. So that's how. But elder people would do that from small age of the kids till they become adults. In different ways, the same thing. Always redressing it, but it's always the same, but they say it differently. So that the boring part is not, you can't say it's boring.
Right.
But some people, they still say it's boring.
Right.
But they're not ready yet to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I really do think it's beautiful. And yeah, I found myself calling you my uncle recently. You're like my Uncle Tom. I just lost my uncle Mike, last year. So he filled a big role in my life, and it's nice to have other men come in when somebody leaves. And
Yeah.
that's what my one aunt said. She said, you know, when somebody leaves our family, another person is always going to come back.
Yeah.
Back in. So I want to say thank you,
Well,
Tom.
you're welcome. Yeah.
It's been an honor.
Yeah.
And if there's anything we can ever do for you, just let us know.
All right. Okay. Well, you tell them all that I'm not going to see them tomorrow. If you see them, I'll say hello, darling.
I will say hello, darling.
Okay, I'm going to hit the road then.
All right.